Thanks for the invite, Jim, and great to be with you today and tell you a little bit about what we're doing here in Chicago. We're really on doing a venture here and a project that's really never been attempted before, which is the most fun because we're all by nature come from television and digital programming, and where everyone in this building is an avid sports lover. And for the first time ever, we have a chance to do something that we think is very disruptive and revolutionary in the world of sports. Since really the birth of cable television and the dawn of ESPN 30 years ago, we're at a point in time where digital consumption really has changed the way people are experiencing sports in general, not just sports, but movies, news, any type of content. And we feel like we're back at the dawn of cable again, because instead of cable this time, it's really digital, and this digital new front that is facing everyone and gives you the opportunity to really cut the cord to cable and to be able to really experience everything in an a la carte manner. So here's a couple of metrics that really will tell you why we're doing what we're doing. And the first one says in 2013, mobile devices passed PCs to be the most common web access tool. And it's really an amazing stat when you think about it. In the next 4 years, 2 billion people will be using tablets and handhelds to view video and television. And that's Juniper. By 2017, 87% of the worldwide smartphone connected device market will be just tablets and smartphones. And lastly, what really matters to us is nearly 8 in 10 sports fans have used their mobile device to watch or follow sports in the last year, and that's growing. That's a number that's expanding. So for us, the next slide that says opportunity. Here we have this amazing ability to create something that's digital only, right? That's not television crammed into a digital package, meaning we're taking television broadcasting and trying to cram it into your phone or cram it into a tablet or whatever, which is really content made for TV, but we're native digital, right? So we're coming at you with a different kind of focus and filter because of where we're coming from. The other thing is, by being digital and being native digital, we actually have deep partnerships. If you go to the next slide there, it says the formula. The only way we could really make 120 happen was to go directly to the sports leagues themselves and to do a partnership, a joint venture with them, not a licensing or a marketing deal, but an actual true joint venture where they own the business. That way we can have the digital rights for Major League Baseball and for the PGA and for the NHL, meaning we can show you highlights during the games while they're going on. And actually the rights for the leagues kind of vary. Some of the league rights are great, some of them are okay, but they're all actually digital rights that are owned by us now and not owned by ESPN. ESPN can show you on television what's happening during the games, but on their digital platforms, they cannot show you in-game highlights. They can't go to do a live look-in on a cell phone during a Major League Baseball game. So say, for instance, your favorite team is playing, the Yankees are playing tomorrow night, and Tanaka's pitching, and he's got a no-hitter going in the ninth. We could actually send you a text on your phone and say, Tanaka no-hitter, click here and watch live, and you can watch it wherever you are. So it's this really kind of amazing thing with the rights packages that we have with the leagues, with this kind of new technology that's being built by Major League Baseball, by BAM, which is really the best app builder in the business in sports, with a production that's not like basement level digital, cable access production, but actually a top-notch, beautiful studio here in the heart of Chicago, being run by guys who've been in television for a long time. Created for this cross-platform digital audience, which is smartphones and tablets and set-top boxes and over-the-top boxes and gaming devices and you name it, right? So the next slide talks a little bit about the digital experience, which is important to us. It's unauthenticated. It's always on. We actually broadcast 7 days a week. When we go live in a few weeks, we'll be on from 5 o'clock Central to 1 a.m. Central, 7 days a week. So we're really on when most of the games are on. And we're talking up to you in real time about what's happening in the world of sports. But we talk to you in 120-second increments. We never really stay on a topic and go on and on and on for 4, 5, 6 minutes, because we understand how consumption is in digital. So we're not really about that. We actually, if you want to liken us to something, we really are, if you're familiar with the NFL Red Zone, which kind of spins you around all the games when they get interesting, That's really what 120 Sports is for all sports. We spin you around the world of sports when things get interesting. And we do that mainly by having loggers who are upstairs looking at all the games at all times. And then we have a social media den that has 8 social media experts in it who are combing and raking social media and sports across the country. And as things bubble up and start happening, we start surfacing them in real time and actually take those topics and insert them into the program. So if we hear wind by Twitter or any type of social media platform that there's something trending or breaking now, we're able to bring it to you immediately. The guys on television are usually in live game situations. If it's ESPN, they could be airing a baseball game or a WNBA game or something like that. We're not. We're actually showing you the best parts of all those games, and we're able to interrupt our programming to bring you things that are happening in real time. Not only that, we have this interactive thing happening where you can actually tweet in, email in, go to Facebook, any of our platforms, and be a part of the program. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to chime in on the conversation, if you want to take a poll, whatnot, you can do that. And I'll show you a little bit of the UI in a moment when we go down. The next slide there is talks about the product overview. It's pretty simple. We are an amalgamation of basically video programming, text, which we call data cards. Every piece of video we do is married to data card. So say we're talking about Derek Jeter, on the screen at the same time would be boxes that you could select that might show his stats or have a gallery of his best games, or a poll you could take, is he the best at his position and whatnot. So it's really pretty neat. And also we have web destinations. Our partner is Time Inc. Sports Illustrated, so you can watch 120 Sports actually at sportsillustrated.com as well, live online. And we actually marry some of our content that they're doing editorially with what we're doing on a daily basis to kind of team up and bring you the best of both worlds. This next slide I'll show you is kind of a mid-stage mock-up, I would call it, of what our UI looks like on an iPad. And as I mentioned before, underneath the video product are data cards where you could take a poll related to this game. If we're talking about Puig, who's a great player for the Dodgers, maybe you can go in and look at his player card. There's a Twitter feed here that has a Twitter quote from Don Mattingly, who's the manager of the Dodgers. So you have this very interactive experience that's counting down every 120 seconds. And also we have a VOD stream that's happening at a touch of a button on here as well. The VOD that we do, everything we do in these 120-second increments are ripped into a 2-minute VOD that goes into a feed that you can search at any time. So you can go in and type in your favorite players, team, sport, league, whatever it is, and kind of create your own VOD stream, which is pretty neat. So you have your own channel of stuff that just really matters to you when and where you want to watch it. The next slide here real quick is just a quick programming note. So to us, the things that matter, we're live when it matters most, when the games are going on, when the discussion is hot. We want to be America's water cooler. We want to be what's being talked about by everyone in sports. We're showing you the things that really matter and that are hot. We're real and conversational and timely and flexible. We have a fluid approach to sports and hot topics and culture, pop culture on any given night. So we're always there talking about things when they're happening and not reporting on them later. And we're also designed to move very quickly through a whole plethora of topics. So if we're on something that you may not have a lot of interest in, you pretty much can hold your breath and we're on the next topic. We're moving very quickly through things. And so this is a very fast and fun and high-paced format of what we're doing. Then these next 2 slides are very simple. I just thought you might want to take a peek at our set. We are the anti of ESPN. We don't have guys. These 2 little cutouts are in suits, but none of our talent will be wearing suits, I can promise you. We have no desks, no formal news desks and things. What we did was build this really cool man cave / sports bar, kind of cool place you'd want to hang out and talk and debate sports. And this is where our talent hangs out on any given night. We have about 5 or 6 different shooting positions in this studio. It's a pretty large studio. And if you move to the next slide, we have the kind of bar area with bubble hockey and cool pinball machines and monitors everywhere with games going on all the time. So it's really a fun place to hang out. So that kind of gives you a very quick, and I'm sorry, kind of crazy roller coaster ride through what 120 is. I know we don't have a lot of time to spend today with each other, but we're very excited about what's happening here. This is an amazing time in media in general, and especially in sports, because what's happened now with technology and the trends of viewing and consumption is allowing guys like us to be able to come in and actually introduce new formats and new ways for sports fans to engage. What we know from sports, just having worked in sports for many, many years, is that sports fans are insatiable in their kind of, quest for content. They want as much as we can never give them enough. They just want more and more and more about their favorite teams and their favorite players. And so you need a 120 to either be that primary kind of viewing, experience when you're not near a television at home or at a sports bar at a game or anything, or to absolutely be that kind of secondary, second screen experience when maybe you're at home watching a couple of games with your buddies or by yourself, but there's also other games that matter that are really interesting to you that are on, and you want to be able to get to them and find out what's happening. We can alert you and keep you in the game in real time without having just to watch a ticker, go by. So it's more up to the date. It's interactive, and it's really kind of what we think the new kind of way to experience sports will be, which is in this bite-sized content that you can consume rapidly and get up to speed very quickly on the things that matter to you. I'm going to take a breath now.
Oh, good. All right. Okay. So talk a little bit about sort of carving out an identity and getting an audience when you've never been part of the 500-channel universe, you've never landed in a driveway, you've never been in drive time, that kind of thing, and what you're going to do. I mean, obviously a partnership with someone like SI.com goes a long way to getting you some visibility. What are some other strategies that you're working on to sort of get, a foothold?
Sure. Well, we'll have some interesting marketing when we launch, and I think you guys will probably see a bit of that. That'll be a little bit more grassroots and large market oriented. But, to be honest with you, a lot of our consumption will be driven by our brand partners. So you'll be hearing about 120 Sports on, MLB.com and on their applications, and at NHL.com and SI and all these NASCAR and all these other digital entities. You'll be able to connect to us through them because they're partners, so that it's not that they don't want you to, experience 120, because we're really everywhere they're not. We have a different type of product. So you'll see a huge kind of groundswell of support from our sports, partners, which are the major leagues, that'll drive a lot of traffic and attention to what we're doing.
And a second question, and then other people can jump in, but I'm guessing that, in addition to being the anti-ESPN and that your anchors don't wear ties, you're also the anti-ESPN in terms of the size of your staff. And can you talk a little bit about just sort of building a digital company that's really heavily invested in content creation, but fairly streamlined, I'm guessing?
Yeah, well, I mean, it takes a lot of people to do what ESPN does. But it really takes a lot of people to do what we do. I don't know if you guys randomly would throw a number out and take a guess of how many people it takes to do what we do on a daily basis. But that number is 100. It takes 100 people working full time in this building to pull off what we do in a night, because, behind the scenes, you've got a lot of technology that's working. You've got an app building room that is building and populating this app in real time. So you've got to have app builders who are looking ahead in our shows, creating all the data cards and all the text that's going to go up with the video in real time. You've got a social media staff, you've got editors, you've got producers, APs, associate producers, production assistants, loggers. We've got about 100 terabytes of storage. We're recording anywhere from 20 to 30 to 40 games a night. So all these games are being watched in real time. We've got 2 full control rooms because we flip back and forth during the night. Since we have an 8-hour show, obviously that's a long time for anyone to be able to go. So we have dual staffs on that actually every few hours will switch back and forth, so we don't really skip a beat. And then, coordinating producers, top line producers, executive producers. So it's a big, huge team here of about 100 to 120 when you figure in all the talent who will put 120 on every night.
MLB has never been a laggard in terms of development. What did they see that 120 Sports can bring them that they can't do themselves, or that NBA or NHL can't do themselves?
Well, I think really, and this just comes from my experiences working. I spent 4 years at the National Hockey League running creative, and I rebuilt their digital platforms, NHL.com, and I built Game Center Live and their digital products. To be honest with you, those leagues are very invested in their own platforms, right? And they have a lot of people that use them, especially MLB BAM, who builds great stuff, and they have a great following. But what happens outside of that is you have platforms like us who are talking about their sport, talking about their players, their game, and they have nothing to do with it. They have nothing to say about it. And so entities like us that are out selling sponsorships and can have a massive business, robust multimedia, new media business that they have nothing to do with. So we could either do that on our own and be a news organization and wave the fair use flag and say, well, we're going to just show highlights just like everybody else. Or we could partner with them, get extended rights, have them be a partner with us, and have them share in the profit of what we do. And we thought from a content standpoint, having the leagues be partners and having richer digital rights and having inside relationships with those leagues to help grow our business and their business was the way to go. And lucky for us, the leagues responded in a big way and wanted to be a part of it.
And do you think that's the model, Andre, going forward? Do you think there will be more models like that where if you have something compelling to sell to an established media player, they're all ears about that?
I do. I do. I mean, I think you're seeing now we're on the verge of a lot of over-the-top type of models for content. And, sports fans especially really get peeved when they have to authenticate themselves to watch something online, to stream an event or something. If you don't have cable or you don't have the password and username for your cable provider, you can't get access. We are an unauthenticated free platform. No one has to do anything. You just launch our app and boom, you're in. Or go online and you can watch all you want. And I think this is really going to be, we're seeing a shift in how major networks, are really now putting content out. You're seeing millennials really cutting the cord to cable. They're not paying huge cable bills anymore. They're using Netflix and Hulu and Apple TV and all the gaming platforms. They're really watching all the shows. They have HBO Go, all the shows they've ever wanted to watch without having to subscribe and have that massive cable bill. So this really is the dawn of the change of how people are going to pick and choose what they want, when they want, where they want, and how they want to see it on what device.
Andre, I think, unless there's another question in the room real quickly, Phil?
Andre, obviously you've got the backing of these leagues, so you've got a lot of capital behind you initially, but it's a free app right now. How do you plan to make money in the long run?
Well, we have, our money is really built around a sponsorship model. So we have major brands that come to us who really want to reach out, especially to the millennial demographic, which we feel we kind of bullseye. So we really are built around that model. We will have a premium app later that's going to have more bells and whistles, really ultra customization built into it, a lot kind of a heightened experience. But we'll always have the free model, and we really are built, like I said, on a sponsorship and brand sponsorship model. We do show 15-second pre-roll video to videos online if you're watching VOD online. But there's absolutely and we bake in integration inside the rest of the show into graphics and things like that. But otherwise, that's really our model, and it's not really based on charging for downloads. It's for providing a great, free, unauthenticated, unfiltered service and having these brands support us by buying brand sponsorships when we're on air.
André Mika from 120 Sports. Good luck. We're looking forward to seeing what you have in a couple of weeks here.
Download the app and let us know what you think.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.